Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Knowledge Hub Meet the Expert session here at MIHAS 2025. My name is Suresh Kumar, Trade Commissioner at MATRADE Jakarta, and I'll be the moderator for today's session. Now, for this session, we'll be zooming in on one of the most dynamic and promising markets in the region, Indonesia, with a focus on halal trade and business opportunities. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia, as many of you know, is not just a close neighbor, it's a strategic trading partner and a rising force in the global halal economy. Today, we are going to explore the latest figures, key halal market trends, and most importantly, hear directly from experts on the ground, people who know the market, live it, and work in it every day. Now, let's begin with some context. In 2024, total trade between Malaysia and Indonesia grew by 4.5%. Reaching 25.5 billion US dollars. That's around 116 billion ringgit. Malaysia's exports to Indonesia were up nearly 7%, while imports saw a modest increase. And just in the first half of 2025, we are already seeing strong momentum, with total trade up 8.4% compared to the same period last year. It's clear this bilateral relationship is not just stable, it's growing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at what we are exporting to Indonesia. The top 5 exports from Malaysia to Indonesia, the biggest has always been petroleum products, which making up over 40% of our total exports. And the second is chemical, industrial chemicals, then followed by machinery, electrical, and electronics at number 4. And interestingly, in 5th place is processed food, which saw a strong increase of 22% in 2024. Now, this tells us that demand for Malaysian-made food products is growing. And the key takeaway for our businesses here today is this is a market to look at. In terms of ranking, Indonesia is Malaysia's 6th largest trading partner globally. And within ASEAN, it's our 2nd largest trading partner overall. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us focus on the halal sector. That's the heart of today's session. From 2022 to 2024, Malaysian halal exports to Indonesia reached 9.41 billion ringgit. Okay. In 2024 alone, we exported 3.41 billion worth of halal products to Indonesia. The biggest contributors were food and beverage. 66% of our total exports were in the food and beverages segment, followed by halal ingredients at 24% and cosmetics and personal care at 7%. Right? So if we look within the sector, within the food sector, the subcategories, the biggest subcategories were edible products and preparation, cocoa-based items, cereals, and flour-based products. So these were the 3 biggest segments or subcategories of products that we're exporting to Indonesia. So, ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia, as many of you know, ranks fourth globally in the Islamic economy. And to support halal trade, Malaysia's JAKIM and Indonesia's BPJPH, over here they say BPJPH, have already signed a MOC, a Memorandum of Cooperation, to harmonize certification processes. So the path is clear for exporters now. All right? Now it's clear, it's much easier. There is more clarity in mutual recognition of our certifications. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, now let us hear from someone who lives and breathes this market daily. Our first speaker, Ms. Nena Amedian, the Marketing Officer at MATRADE Jakarta. Okay, Ms. Nena has been instrumental in our promotion efforts in Indonesia and is here to give you a solid overview of the current business landscape. Now, please welcome Ms. Nena. Over to you, Nena.
Well, thank you, Mr. Suresh. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues and other guests, I'm delighted to be one of the speakers for the Knowledge Hub Meet the Expert sessions held in conjunction with the Malaysia International Halal Showcase MIHAS 2025. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Nina Namira Median, Market Development Manager at MATRADE Jakarta. And today I'm here to share insight into one of the most exciting and rapidly evolving consumer markets in the world, Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia is the world's largest island country and the 14th largest country by area at 1.5 million square kilometers. With a population of over 270 million people, Indonesia is not only the fourth most populous country globally, but also a powerhouse of economic potentials. Its consumers market is vibrant, diverse, and full of opportunities for businesses willing to understand its unique dynamics. Indonesia consumer market is driven by its young tech-savvy populations, and more than 50% of Indonesians are under 30 years old, making it a nation of digital natives eager to eager to embrace new products, services, and trends. This youthful demographic is reshaping consumption patterns, favoring convenience, digital experiences, and global brands with local relevance. Indonesia also is Southeast Asia's largest consumer market, projected to surpass $1 trillion in market value in 2025, with consumer spending expected to grow by 5.2% year-on-year in 2025. Household consumption, which accounts for 44.5% of GDP, is the largest driver of Indonesia economic growth, contributing significantly towards Indonesia economic expansions. Annual consumption is expected to top $2.5 trillion by 2030. Indonesia's thriving consumer market is largely driven by a growing young middle-class populations, with the middle class expected to reach 141 million by 2030. It is fueling demand for everything from smartphones and fashion to healthcare and premium foods. Disposable incomes are growing, and with them, the appetite for quality and innovations. Indonesia is projected to account for nearly 40% of ASEAN's growth by 2030, with the private consumption playing a major role. It is also noteworthy that Indonesia is experiencing a digital revolution. Indonesia has one of the fastest growing internet user bases in Southeast Asia. As of 2024, there are over 200 million active internet users, with mobile devices being the primary mode of access. Today's Indonesia is TikTok's world largest user base, with over 157.6 million users, and Instagram's fourth largest user base with 103.4 million users. The role of online shopping in Indonesia continued to grow. E-commerce giants like Tokopedia, Shopee, and Lazada dominate the market, while social commerce and live streaming are redefining retails. By end 2025, e-commerce sales in Indonesia are expected to hit $82 billion. This reflects how consumers browse, compare, and buy products, mostly through mobile phones and social media. The pandemic accelerated online shopping, but the trend is here to stay. Consumers now expect seamless digital experiences, from mobile payments like GoPay, OVO, to instant delivery services. For businesses, this means omni-channel strategies are no longer optional, but also they are very essential. For brands intending to enter Indonesian market, building a strong online presence is no longer optional. Digital platforms are a must, and is where loyalty is built and sales are made. So, ladies and gentlemen, the following are few sectors that we see opportunities in the Indonesian consumer market. One is halal food and beverages. These sectors remain the fundamentals drivers, benefiting from rising incomes and changing consumption habit. And then the second one is FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods. Demand for everyday consumer products continue to surge, fueled by urbanizations and a growing middle class. Robust growth is seen in F&B products, beauty products, and personal care, and also personal care products. Meanwhile, health and wellness is a rising demand for. There is a rising demand for organic foods, fitness, and wellness products as consumers become more health conscious. Yet the opportunities far outweigh the hurdles. Indonesia's economic is resilient, and its consumers are eager to adopt new trends from FEDEX and EdTech to health and wellness products. So maybe that's all from me, Mr. Suez.
Thank you, Ms. Nena, for a very insightful presentation. Yeah, very interesting looking at the numbers. Okay, Ms. Nena, you've been helping Malaysian companies to penetrate this market for many years now. All right. Just a quick question. I think that everyone would like to know, what are some of the big challenges, the major challenges that you see, in entering into Indonesia? What are some common issues, right, that you are faced with, everyday issues before companies can penetrate this market? What do they need to know? Yeah, please.
Okay, all right. I think Mr. Randy now smiling because I think both of our speakers today, Mr. Marco and Mr. Randy, of course, very familiar with the challenges in Indonesia. It was maybe for your information as well, Mr. Shunes, that actually it's also these challenges are also we call it like NTB, non-tariff barriers that we are that mostly facing by our exporters. Okay, I think despite Indonesian potentials, there are some main challenges which faced by Malaysian company in Indonesia. One is regulatory and trade barriers, which export must navigate local content requirements, stringent standards like increased import duties, which all of that are like raising costs and complicate market entry and operations. And then the second one is intense competitions, international brands, festive competition from domestic players. There are many local brands, and Indonesian consumers are becoming increasingly price sensitive. Okay, and then the third one is complex distributions and also geography. As we all know, that Indonesia's vast geography with over 17,000 islands and fragmented landscape with over 4 million small independent retailers make route to market planning and executions very difficult. Reaching consumers outside major cities remain a significant challenge. Okay, and then other than that is like lastly is like infrastructure and logistic limitations. Underdeveloped infrastructure, especially outside urban centers, lead to higher logistic costs and inefficiency in supply chains. So that's all the main challenges that maybe Malaysian exporter will face during their market entry in Indonesia.
Thank you, Ms. Nena. Very, very comprehensive. Yeah. So I think after this, you'll get many Malaysian exporters contacting you. Yeah? I think you have touched upon most of the challenges that is faced in penetrating the Indonesian market. Okay, our next speaker brings with us a corporate perspective. Okay, Mr. Marco is from one of Indonesia's top food and beverages distributors. Yeah, Mr. Marco has been with the company since 2018, and so he's from this company called Sukanda Jaya, and he's also one of our MIHAS premium buyer for 2025. He has been a premium buyer for the last few years, every year coming to Malaysia and sourcing more and more products, and I hope you do source many more.
We hope so too, Mr. Shuret, for sure.
Yeah. So Mr. Marco will be sharing insights on sourcing practices, yeah, and what it takes to supply to the Indonesian market. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Mr. Marco to share his insights on how do you successfully enter this market, and what are the sourcing needs that you would want to see from our exporters when they talk to you later.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Shuret, and Ms. Nena, of course, and Mr. Randy. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Marco.
Nice to meet you. So I would say for a need for Malaysian companies, it's on different levels, I would say. So first of all, as Ms. Nena already said, there are some regulations here in Indonesia. So for FMCG products, it needs to go from the BPOM registration, which means it's a rather long registration, which can take up to 6 months after we have received all the documentations from the supplier. So that's one part. If a product is more for the food service market, which is in bigger packaging, 5 kilo plus, and not there's a lot of restrictions or demands around that. But if that's fulfilling, then the registration can be faster. Takes up to 2 to 3 months. And then, of course, what I always say, I think for an exporter, it's important to know the market where you want to go into. I mean, make sure that you know Indonesia. Make sure that you know the competition of your products. Make sure that you know also the pricing in Indonesia of the competition of your products, and know the story of your company and your product, so that you can share the story inside Indonesia. But also, if you go into the FMCG, make sure that you have some investments, because if you want to go into retail, you need to do listing fees, you need to pay for on-top budget, you need to pay for activation. So it is just more than sending a container to Jakarta. It can then become trading style. I always say there are 2 ways of doing business. You can do trading business, which is then maybe 1-2 containers per year. Or you can work on the fact that you really want to build a brand in Indonesia for a sustainable long time. And that means that you need to be well prepared, and also well prepared in the investments behind it. Then I think another part is on some product levels, Ms. Nena already said, there are some regulations extra. So for example, dairy, fishery, you need to have the G2G registration, government to government registration. That can take rather long. So that is also depending on which product it is, but it can take up to 3 years or even longer. So that is one of the hubs what can be a part of the process. So in general, I would say be well prepared. Contact and also find out on the Indonesian market which of the distributors could fit to your ways of working, because every distributor in Indonesia is different. Some distributors are very much specialized in the food service or in a certain temperature channel, so frozen, chilled, or dry. Some are very good in the GT market. Some have a more broader perspective, but the ones with a more broader perspective also wants mostly to handle a little bit bigger brands, so they need to drive volumes. If I can zoom in a little bit on what we do, we have 20 distribution centers in Indonesia on all the different main cities. So that means we go from Kalimantan to Java, all the way up to the far east of Indonesia. And all those centers have frozen warehouse, chilled warehouse, and ambient warehouse, and where we have our own trucks and our own salespeople. And that means also that we are looking for brands we can really increase in volume over time. So I think that's a little bit sharing from my side. And if you would like to have some more information, please let me know, Mr. Suresh or Ms. Nena.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Marco, for those very practical and clear insights. Very informative. Just a question here. I think you've been coming to Malaysia for the last couple of years, sourcing from MIHAS. So I'd like to know, maybe for the benefit of our listeners here today, what are some of the constraints, or what are some of the barriers that probably the Malaysian exporters should understand, before they approach the market, or before they see a distributor as big as you, who has all this network here? What are some of the key things that they have to take note on? Is it pricing? Is it price to market? Do they have to? What sort of homework do the Malaysian companies need to do before they even think of venturing into Indonesia?
Good question, Mr. Suresh. So first of all, they need to make sure to understand, as I said actually before, that they know what their product competition is on the Indonesian market. I would say take just a flight to Jakarta and spend a few days in Jakarta, go either into the food service market, or if you have an FMCG product, visit the different retail stores. Can be the big retailers, the big retailers, can be the small mom and pop stores, but start to understand what your competitive products are here on the market, what the pricing is, and where they come from. Because you will see that local produced products mostly have a much lower price point than imported products. So you also need to balance, I think, from the Malaysian perspective, that you're not overpriced compared to European products, because the distance already makes a difference. So you need to really understand the market a bit. Of course, basic number one is for food and beverage products, you need to be Halal certified. Now with Jakim, there's no problem to get in Indonesia because we have the MRA, right? The mutual recognition agreement. And then the points what I said before, make sure that your product is easy to register on the Indonesian market and be ready to invest in your product.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you thank you for that explanation on that. Another question, if I may. What would you say, going to Malaysia, sourcing from MIHAS a couple of years, what items do you see that would be really, what items from Malaysia would you see that will really do well here in Indonesia? Or what items particularly would you be sourcing for from Malaysia?
So actually we have started with quite some brands, I have to say. So we have been starting with a candy brand, soft and hard candy brand. We have been starting with a savory snack brand. Then we have started with some ingredients from Malaysia, and that goes from plant-based oils to even we're busy with some dairy replacers. So I think the sourcing from Malaysia to Indonesia is not that difficult. I mean, our taste palette is quite similar, right? So I think from that perspective, there is a lot of similarities in both countries. As long as we don't go into the discussion of which rendang is better. But for the rest, it's quite okay, right? So from that perspective, it's easier. I think there's a lot of opportunities, even in frozen food, in confectionery food as well, and what I said in snacks. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Marco. Really appreciate it. All right. So for our final speaker today, we'll hear for someone who knows what it takes to grow a Malaysian brand in Indonesia. Today we have with us Mr. Randy, Director of PT Aikyong Indonesia. Aikyong has been active in the Indonesian market for over a decade, over 10 years. And this is the man, Mr. Randy, who brought Aikyong into this market and been supporting hopefully more Malaysian products, more Malaysian brands through your network. He will share with us, some real-world experiences, including the challenges and success strategies for building brand presence in Indonesia. So without further ado, please allow us in welcoming Randy. Randy, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Suresh, Ms. Nena, Mr. Marcos. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. Just to talk about a little bit of how we penetrate or milestones that how we try to introduce Aikyong product as a Malaysian product to Indonesia. We always believe that in Indonesia, there's a lot of products. People will always say that Indonesia is a big country. Indonesia is have a large population and all. But frankly speaking, to me, in Indonesia, there are too many products already. And it's like a noise of products already. So what we did back then is just to introduce one particular SKUs, which is teh tarik. And then we put on one story behind it. So it's like we're building a novelty. We started off as a novelty, and we believe that teh tarik is one cultural products in Malaysia. And then we put a story behind it, try to sell it, and then it's not only selling, but communicating with our future customer and customers by saying that this is what teh tarik is. I mean, obviously, at the moment, everybody already realized what teh tarik is right now. But a decade ago, a lot of people don't realize it, don't know what is teh tarik. So we had to bring this local, some kind of a local from Kedai Mama, go to Pekan Raya Jakarta. I think we all know Pekan Raya Jakarta is, right? Performing a teh tarik exhibition and then say it loudly that this is teh tarik. So I think from there, that is one of the one big step that carries our brand to be known and well known in supermarkets around us at that time. So at that time, we don't really put any effort on, let's say, on knocking the doors of the retailers, try to offer these particular products. But when we do that, it's just it's like a pulling strategy from the local retailers buyer and offered us to in so that we have a leverage. We don't have to pay a lot of money on listing fees at that time. So it pretty much gives us some kind of a benefit that by doing an education or communication through the Indonesian market, resulting quite a successful interest to our customer, whether it's from retailer or end customers. So until now, we still bring that kind of strategy whenever we want to introduce our new SKU. So we did not come out with a lot of brand, a lot of SKU in one time, but we try to introduce one by one. Okay, so after Teh Tarik, we do chocolate, we do white coffee, so that it gives the customer some time to digest what is the product. So delivering that, we believe until now, by delivering that, we believe that it will put a loyalty in Indonesian consumer minds. Based on that, I think we still wanted to continue that kind of process, whereby I think Ms. Nena also already indicated that we are the largest users of TikTok, and Indonesia is really well known with this so-called terms like FOMO, fear of missing out. So we use that kind of words so that any Indonesian, if we put on something viral, a lot of Indonesian will follow, because the concept of fear of missing out that we believe that the Indonesian customer will go for. And I think in the long run as well, in the long term, I think Indonesia will always be on that kind of situations, whereby if, let's say, if some fellow Malaysian exporters or producers have an interest to come to do business in Indonesia, I think they have to understand what Mr. Marco said, that they have to understand what kind of product they're having, and is it suitable in terms of pricings, in terms of market acceptance and everything. I think if Malaysian exporters and producers understand that, and then be able to communicate us as an importers for Indonesian market, I think we can help to find some ways to, let's say, squeeze into Indonesian markets. And hopefully
get room for novelties, right?
Correct, Mr. Marco. correct. Correct. Yeah, so from the marketing point of view, it's like that. As I think if we all wanted to talk about the challenge, the barriers to entry to Indonesia, I think what Malaysian exporters always fear on is the BPOM, the registrations, the halal, the so-called is so complicated. But currently speaking, I think the government already understand the difficulty of it. That's why they issue a recognition between JAKIM for the halal part. And also for the BPOM part, I would not think that it's not so complicated anymore. So-called so as long as it's not forbidden for product or negative list products, so I call for or high risk product for food and beverage. And I think to do that, I think we can same like Mr. Marco. If the documentation is right from the LOAs, flowchart, certification like GMPs, HACCP, something like that, is complete, and the exporters are willing to provide it promptly, I think we can finalize it sooner and faster. And thanks to this online evaluation process, there's no more under the table process and everything. So everything is
Exactly.
real and legal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe I can add a small thing on that, Mr. Randy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I always try to, because you made a very good remark that a lot of exporters are afraid for the time frame what it takes, right? And all the different obstacles which are there. So I always try to make it like this. From the moment we meet for the first time, online, offline, there is the first discussions, you look into the possibility of the brand, you go through the phase that you make a sort of business plan to give to the exporter what we think we can do with it. Then when there is an agreement, we go into the distribution agreement, and then we put everything together and put it into the BPOM. And when the BPOM is released, I always say that it's around that whole process around 9 months. So delivering a baby. But when you deliver the baby,
correct.
when you deliver the baby, you have a whole life in front of you. So don't look to those 9 months as something what makes it difficult. No, it is just making you ready for endless time on the Indonesian market.
Well, I think for that remarks, for that 9 months waiting, I think we can use it as to study the market before the product itself entering the market. Okay, so Indonesia is quite big. We're not talking only about Jakarta. We're talking about Surabaya. We're talking about Bali. We're talking about cities in
Sumatra.
Sulawesi, Kalimantan. So the time enables the exporters to understand what is Indonesia look like. And I think Mr. Marco also understand that even though that Indonesia have a big market, but the diversity of the people also different. So this certain part likes sweet, that certain part not like so sweet. So it's a thing that I think exporters have to understand and realize about the Indonesian market.
Correct, Mr. Randy. And maybe to add, I also sorry, the last thing. Maybe to add on the demographic. I mean, we have 270 million people.
Yeah, correct.
And growing fast. But don't forget, a lot of exporters always think, 270 million people, so my country is 50 million, so I can sell 5 times more. That's not how it really works, because still more than 50% of our people cannot afford import products yet.
Agree.
Yeah, that's true, Mr. Marco. Thank you for sharing that. So I think we have to segmentize the markets, right, before we enter. So we got to really understand. And in fact, it's very interesting that you shared with us on the new emerging markets, right, especially Surabaya, Medan. We're doing, Malaysian exporters are doing quite well in Java, I think. We've already come in. Many of our big brands are already here and well known. And I think we got to do more with your help, hopefully in places that are upcoming, especially Surabaya, Medan, Kalimantan, so on and so forth. Mr. Randy, thank you so much for sharing. Your journey has been truly inspiring. And thank you for branding Teh Tarik in Indonesia. I didn't know Indonesia ada Teh Tarik. So it's Malaysian brand,
Malaysian brand, right.
But, that's very interesting. It's just a question here, I see it. In the old days, you bring the guy here, you do road shows, you do the Teh Tarik experience, you get people to experience it. And I think that's part of the journey, right, on where you get the buy-in. But now, like what Nena mentioned, right, with this evolving digital sphere, the space now that they have here, everything is digital. Now, the look and feel of things is different. No more listing fees, Sekarang is KOL, TikTok, and things like that. Things are moving so fast into that sphere. How are you navigating this? And how looking at building your brands and a story like Teh Tarik here again, probably with other brands here. How do you navigate this new new dynamic of things with the digital boom that is happening in Indonesia, I would say. Yeah.
All right. We're still doing it organically, Mr. Suresh. I mean, we don't necessarily pay some influencer or do a professional method for that. We do organically, and until now, we're still doing roadshows and opening a pop-up stores, and then hoping that there's a passerby, put a snapshot, put in their TikTok. As simple as that. So
Free
based on
advertisement.
free advertising.
Yes.
So and I think also nowadays the internet users also, the TikTok users also, they already understand which one is paid and which one is real, right? So we believe that if we still bring that authenticity of communication, I think that is the keys and our goals to keep on sustaining on the internet on online markets. Yeah.
So probably we could do roti canai next, yeah?
I already have roti canai, Mr. Suresh, and
Oh,
I
really?
think I would like to invite you, but it's just a pop-up stores, and we only open it on Saturdays and Sundays. We'll give you a personal
Where is it,
invitation.
Paredi?
Yes,
Where is it anyway? Where
in
is it?
GBK, in GBK.
Oh, in GBK, I see.
Correct. Yes, yes,
I saw your pop-up store in Block M anyway.
yes. Block M
Then
is
I went to
one.
Block M and then
Correct.
like to its in like one of the viral
Yeah,
restaurants
yeah,
there, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
it's just next to your pop store.
Thank
I
you,
saw
thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
No, the one that having roti canai is in GBK.
Oh,
So
in
I
GBK.
think Teh Tarik and roti canai is a good pair,
It's
right?
a
I think
perfect
we'll all
combination
agree.
anyway.
We all agree. So
Yes.
that keeps us going, I think, for the branding.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, yeah. Okay, this is something else that I thought we should probably talk about. See, there is a perception that things in Indonesia are cheap. I think that perception is there. The journey. We need to probably talk on numbers, maybe just to educate our exporters, right? When coming into Indonesia, I think a lot of people fail to understand that there are a lot of duties. A lot of duties.
And
I've been here a
taxes.
year and a half. So
Yeah.
imported goods are expensive here, right? You have the import duty, you have the withholding tax. So again, when you talk to Malaysian companies and when you do the price to market, right, I think they have to have a price to market strategy. So over the years, I think on your side, maybe Mr. Marco first, what would you advise our Malaysian exporters before they come into the market? Because what we are seeing now is a lot of exporters coming for exhibitions. The products go like crazy. They get very excited because the demand is there. But then comes this hurdle, right? Where, logistics costs, the cost of duties, the BPOM, and so on and so forth. So maybe on your side, how would you like to advise the Malaysian exporters who's going to talk to you? What sort of pricing strategies should they think about and have in mind before they come into the Indonesian market?
Indonesia, yeah. I think one of the most important things is actually we've seen it a few weeks ago. We had the Food Hotel Indonesia here in Jakarta. So that we have a lot of exporters and also Malaysian exporters approaching us in the booth and presenting their products, but indeed not really thought through yet. So I think the best thing what you can do is first of all come to Indonesia, see the market, compare it with the brands which are already here on the market, look into the price point, and from there start doing your calculations. Okay, what would it be costing to get this product on the Indonesian market, where also the distributor wants to have a little bit of margin. Of course, you need to do the shipping. Luckily enough, we are in the ASEAN, so there is zero duty on a lot of products, but still we need to clearance. Still there is some withholding tax and all those different things. So that is, I think, the good preparation is know where the market, where you want to go into, understand what's happening in Indonesia and what is already in Indonesia. And then do also an assessment on the distributors. So which one fits the best by your approach? What would you like to do? Which channel do you want to go in? Do you want to reach whole Indonesia? Do you want to only get into a certain part of Indonesia? Is it a special ethnic groups you want to enter? Because there are all different distributors on those levels. And when you have done that, then I would say take your top 3 and talk with 3 different distributors and from there you can take slowly your decision. And those distributors will also give you a lot of insights.
Thank you, Marco. Randy, your thoughts on this? Maybe in a sense of, I think you do a lot of advertising or maybe a lot of promotion, right? That you do on road shows and things like that. I'm sure it costs. Yeah. So how do you navigate this cost? What if there is a brand from Malaysia who's interested to come here in the long journey to build a brand, what would be your advice? Or what sort of exporter would you be looking for to work with?
All right. Okay. First of all, from the landed cost standpoint, okay, I would like to share to the exporters that from the FOB, we have to, let's say from Malaysia, they have to add up like, I'm going to perform a detailed calculation on the landed cost that we are going to take. Let's say from FOB, added from the percentage of the container shipping, 700 USD. And then there's also insurance. And of course, the PPN, the VAT will involve, and the PPH. And then comes the landed cost. Now, from the landed cost, we would like to share with them that how much that they want to go, right? For example, if a certain products wanted to enter modern market, obviously we would share the listings fees, the cost, and the support promotion, and also the trading terms, the detail of the trading terms. If they accept, then we will go for it. But most of a lot of fellow that we meet as well, they just want to do conservative. We want to start from GT first. Okay, from GT and then online. We also can share that calculation. Of course, with GT, the trading terms and also the deals is components pricing is not as complicated as the trading terms in MT. But we should also allow some kind of, let's say, some kind of ad hoc marketing support, like free goods, gimmicks, discounts, and everything. So it enables the exporters to go deeper on how they would think on to penetrating to Indonesian market. Lastly, in online also, it's not as nice as we hear. It's not that free. There's a components as well. Shopee have a percentage of deduction, admin fee, and everything. So it's not that. It's not like you put a price and then you get that price back. Mr. Marco also agrees with that. Yes. So a lot of things that needs to be discussed. And back again, I think trying to sell, we have to buy first. So we have to buy the market before we want to sell the products in the market. So everything need cost. And if exporters are really serious on, let's say, trying to get a small, not a small percentage, a percentage of shares in market shares, there's always a cost to be involved, right? And nothing in Indonesia here is actually free. But if we can identify which one we want to go first, then we can start gradually.
Correct.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you for sharing that. Marco, you'd like to add something?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with Mr. Randy. I think as an exporter, you need to think, first, what do I want to achieve? Do I just want to sell containers, or do I want to build my brand on a market for a long time period? I mean, we represent brands already over 40 years, some of them, and very successfully on the market. Mostly they're in their category number 1, 2, or 3. So, but that means that also the principal, the exporter, really have to take his share on the responsibility there. Because just selling containers, and then it becomes trading business, right? And then you end up in the GT market, maybe a little bit in some MTI stores, but that's it.
Yeah, totally agree with Mr. Marco.
Yeah, so I think we have had a very interesting session. What we've heard today confirms what we all already know. the halal sector in Indonesia is growing. It's important. Of course, to navigate the market, we got to understand the local peculiarities, local tastes, local barriers, challenges, and opportunities, right? So I think today we have covered a lot of ground. You know, with halal being a core sector in Indonesian Islamic economy master plan, I think there's going to be strong bilateral momentum between both countries. And we are seeing more and more interest from Malaysia, especially our SMEs. More SMEs are interested to venture into the Indonesian market. And we really hope with the help of Mr. Marco, because I think the biggest state-owned enterprise, right, in food distribution in Indonesia, and also Mr. Randy, who has built a successful Malaysian brand, TETAREK here, and hopefully many more to come. We hope you can continue to help us in navigating and successfully bringing in more Malaysian companies into Indonesia. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have come to the end of our session. MATRADE, please be rest assured, we remain committed in supporting your export journey. You know, Ms. Nena has shared a lot today. She's my strong lady, strong team member who's guiding me and also assisting me every day. She's been with us for 8 years. We are here to help you. If you need any assistance with rules, regulations, meeting people like Mr. Marco, distributors like meeting Mr. Randy, please reach out to us. We are always here to help you. But as mentioned earlier, I think export marketing plan is necessary. So I think one thing that we have taken up from today's session is exporters need to do a little bit of homework. You need to come to the market, visit the stores, not just exhibitions, understand the pricings, understand a little bit more on the taste, the packaging also, something interesting in Indonesia, packagings here are smaller. So there's little things that you have to do a little bit extra to understand how to be successful here in Indonesia. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Marco, Mr. Randy, Nena. I think we had a truly great session today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Suresh, Ms. Nena, and Mr. Randy. Nice to meet you again, and hope to see you soon in KL or wherever.
Thank you, KL.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you all.
Hope to see you all in my office someday soon.
Yes.
We should have probably
Please come by to our office.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll do.
Not so far away, right?
Yeah, we'll do.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye.